Bitcoin has broken out of its bearish ascending wedge, or at least potentially it has broken out. In today's video, we are going to be jumping into the technical analysis on BTC, reviewing what's been going on and where I think the price action is heading. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another update video. And today we are jumping into the world of Bitcoin. Here we have BTC paired up with USDT. We're on the 4-hour Binance chart. And as you can see, we were tracking this ascending wedge. For the last few days, we've been talking about a potential rally upwards towards $55,000. We smashed through there, breaking our trend line as well, reaching $57,073 for BTC. This is a great sign for things to potentially come here for Bitcoin. I don't think this is over just yet either. I still see this with a potential move a little bit higher, maybe cooling off a little bit and then rallying up and continuing to kind of reach some of those existing highs, which is great to see. So let's jump into this and take a look at what's going on, right? Okay, so here we can see our continuation pattern that we were talking about over the weekend, right? We had basically been ranging between the low side and the high side, and we're talking about potentially coming down to the low trend line here and testing this out. It turns out that we actually broke above, and as soon as we got that close above our mid trend line there, we were talking about a long position, right? So basically we were kind of talking about going long here, stop loss below the trend line. Potentially, if you wanted to, give it a little bit of room just there on the 50 EMA, the 50 SMA, and target out that higher range, right? Great risk reward ratios. Now, here you can see that we could have done a trailing stop and continue to ride this. We can still be in this long, but it's a great long opportunity nonetheless. So guys, let me know in the comments below, did you go long on Bitcoin with the breakout of that mid trend line, and whether or not you're in profit on this one? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, if I were to be trading, I would be trading on BitGet. BitGet is my go-to platform when it comes to leverage-based trades, and there is a link for that in the description down below. Now, if you do use the affiliate link in the description below, you are eligible for up to $30,000 of rewards and bonuses depending on how much you deposit and trade on the platform. Now, there are terms and conditions that are associated with that. Not all countries and jurisdictions are eligible, so make sure you follow the rules on the website. Link for BitGet is in the description down below. And as you can see here, Bitcoin at the point of recording this video, about 9 a.m. UTC, actually a little bit earlier than that, it's actually 8:48, we can see is still trying to push up a little bit higher, right? This breakout situation is looking very, very good for BTC, but I still think we have more to the upside to go. Now, how much higher? I don't think it's going to be terribly too much. I'm going to go ahead and use the Fibonacci retracement tool here to kind of give you a bit of an estimate. I reckon 58K is on the cards. I think that's likely. I'm going to go ahead and say approximately this little range here, 57.5 to 58,000. That would be my kind of guesstimate right now on this little move. So we're almost there before I think we call off. Now, can we hold this upper trend line as a new level of support? That's going to be the breakout testament here to make sure that this bearish pattern isn't just being slightly adjusted like this. We want to make sure that it holds up as a bearish or as a bullish breakout from this bearish pattern. We're going to want to turn this trend line that we just broke through into a support level, right? We're going to want that to be a support. So we want to come up a little bit higher, we want to come down, we want to find support here, and then we want another breakout. That's kind of what we're looking for, right? That there will then allow us to then potentially talk about $60,000 BTC. If we can't do this and we close inside here again, it isn't necessarily the end of the world. It doesn't necessarily mean that we haven't had a good breakout. It just means that our trend line here probably needs to be adjusted. We probably need to adjust for a few different variables that are going on. We do have a really strong move up here. Okay, this move to the upside is looking very, very good. Now, obviously, people who understand Elliott wave theory will understand and see potentially straight off the bat exactly what is going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And why we target out this fifth wave move towards kind of potentially 60,000, but we're going to talk about 58 for now, is that we can also see this internal structures also playing out quite nicely. Now, from our kind of standard kind of trend line point of view, we had the opportunity to see this breakout situation from this wave 4, this ranging market, and a fantastic trading opportunity, right? If we were able to kind of trade this one nicely, potentially even with this first candle here, we are talking some really significant percentage points. 8.19% using leverage is a phenomenal amount. Imagine timesing that by 10. For example, some great profit was made. Now, a short position is highly likely to occur in the coming kind of days and weeks, but again, we'll have to look and see how that kind of goes. At the moment, this is a bullish break of our bearish pattern. Now, if we bring up our stochastic RSI, as you can see here that we are overbought on the monthly, the weekly. We need to review what's going on with the daily. The 8 hours overbought, the 4 hours overbought, and of course the daily is still looking for that additional surge to the upside. So I'm not too concerned there. Let's take a look at that daily. Our daily has, of course, massive swing to the upside on this fantastic breakout that we've just seen. So that is going to start aligning with everything else being a little bit on the bearish momentum side. Let's go ahead and bring this back to our 4 hour, remove the stochastics and throw in the divergence. Here you can see the RSI. The RSI is the yellow line. This is heavily overbought. The last time that the RSI was this high was back here on the 10th of February. Let's go ahead and review what that looked like. So here we were actually in bearish divergences as we actually pushed up higher, but we did start to see this correction into a ranging market. So the fact that we are up this high will be an indication of a correction. Now, obviously, it doesn't relate to price. This is only giving you an indication of momentum. Some examples here. Okay, so last time that we were overbought, we were actually pushing up in higher highs and setting bearish divergence, and we only ended up with a ranging market as a result of it, right? And the time before this, we actually were, I guess, this one over here, another ranging market. And then the time before that, we actually saw a larger correction from this overbought range down to the oversold range, right? We saw a very big correction on that move. So we don't draw conclusions from the positioning of the RSI. The only thing that we do know is that this is likely to reverse on us, as in price action is likely to kind of see reversals as momentum changes direction. So it's bullish at the moment, and that momentum is likely to turn bearish, right? How bearish is yet to be seen, okay? But it's an interesting kind of indication as to things to come. Now, if we take off our divergence indicator, throw the volume in, you can still see volumes are not as good as they need to. A little bit of volumes come in here to generate this move. Outside of that, volumes were low and they've dropped right the way back down once again. So volumes are not looking as strong as they need to for a continuation of this move to the upside. That's not to say that we can, just see a complete drop and complete collapse of BTC's price, because we still do not see selling volume in the same way that we do not see buying volume. I think for the most part, this is pretty much driven at the moment probably from Bitcoin spot ETFs with their need of buying some buying pressure. Now, they are, of course, buying more Bitcoin than is currently being produced, as in the miners are not producing enough Bitcoin to basically facilitate the new demand from the ETFs. Okay, that I think is about 12 times. They're buying 12 times more Bitcoin daily than what can be produced. And of course, that's going to change dramatically at the Bitcoin halving event as well. So there's definitely some good logical reasons to be bullish on the market. But again, like everything, people who are buying Bitcoin and the spot ETFs will eventually be looking to sell. Now, that could be today, that could be tomorrow, that could be 5 years from now, that could be a decade from now. We don't know people's strategies on that kind of stuff, but I would expect that if the stock market gets spooked for whatever reason, then the Bitcoin spot ETF will also, and the holders of the Bitcoin spot ETF shares will also get spooked and will basically follow the stock market. So in essence, I think that basically will tell us that Bitcoin is now heavily correlated to the stock market, and I think we're likely to see reactions in the stock market affecting Bitcoin and, of course, the altcoins in relation to it. So this move to the upside has been great. I still see this with a little bit more move to the upside. It's great that we have this potential breakout. I'm hoping that we can push up higher so we can get a confirmation that we're fully are done with this bearish ascending wedge. But I do want to kind of just urge you guys, because I do think Bitcoin is heavily correlated to the stock market, and the stock market is likely to get very spooked in the coming months, that I do still see a heavy correction for BTC. Where that price goes, I do not know necessarily. I do suspect a 45 to 50% correction from wherever the price may go on the high side. That is probably going to wrap up today's Bitcoin video, guys. If you have found it useful, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. And why don't you check out this video here where I cover what is going on with Stacks. STX has been on fire recently, and it's got some interesting developments and some potential new all-time highs.